I literally finished Xiaolin Showdown, and it just randomly came on my mind to just do a tier list because these are just so easy to make. I don't know if it'll happen. This will definitely happen before or after. Oh, it'll probably happen after it comes out, but just in case it comes out before it, just in case this video comes out before the next one does, it's gonna be a banger. I think the way that these are gonna be ranked is probably like how well you can use these as just an average person. So it will be kind of strict, but like I don't want everything to just be S tier. I'm gonna consider instances it was used in the show, the potential of it being fused, and just in general, just everything. I think the fusion one is really good, but you can't think of a fusion for literally every single one, since I'm kind of doing this off the dome. And the only research I'm doing is I have another tab that just tells me what it does for an extra reminder if I miss any detail. But if it was used in the show, or like I just thought of one, then it'll count. So, I'm just gonna start. The ants in the pants one, it's a very good distraction, but you can't really use it offensively. If you do combine it with, I don't know, like the Fist of Tebigon or something, you can use that to stun them and then use the ants in the pants. I think it was even used against Chase Young and he was still affected by it. So I think it's an A tier because it's good, but it's not overpowered to where they had to nerf it, because I feel like some Shen Gong Wu are either nerfed or not used in a way that would be just super OP. Okay, I knew what it did, but I just had to look at the name. I actually kind of forgot what it did. I think it's actually just like fucking transport, right? Turns into a massive suit of armor. Yeah, this one was really, it was kind of a one-trick pony because it was used to get a Shen Gong Wu that was in lava, and then yeah. So this is kind of a situational Shen Gong Wu. It's good for travel, that's the thing, but they have dojo, but if you're just an average person, I don't know, not even like Chase Young, because no, not even Jack Spice, because he has those bots. Yeah, if you're just some random guy and you have this with no mode of transport, it's probably very fast, so it's alright. It's alright, because there's no actual use you can use it in a battle. Maybe if it was a showdown and the showdown took place in like a volcano or something, but that's really it. The cannon blast literally is, you turn into Shroom Boom from Skylanders. This one's really shit because A, you have to aim it, and B, if you miss, it's kind of done, because the cannon, I think it stays there from what I can remember, so wherever you shoot it from, it's there, and that's really it. Actually, you know what, D, because maybe you can have someone aim it for you, but then still, it's not a very subtle Shen Gong Wu. The changing chopsticks makes you small. That's pretty much it. From what I remember, you still maintain your strength, and combined with the reversing mirror, it makes you big, but apparently you will literally stay that height for 24 hours, so you're kind of fucked if you don't have the reversing mirror. I think it's C, because there aren't that many practical uses for it in battle, but you can use it for sneaking in, but that's really it. Where the fuck's the kangaroo one? Where the crouching gorilla? This one's kind of shit because it just takes you places really fast, and there's already one that does that, and it's pretty much fireproof, so there's really no need for it at all since there's like a better one. Okay, this one is the first like actual overpowered one because it lets you see the future. It doesn't really describe how far, but using that in the match is overpowered. Like, this is literally just Diablo. There's not really a way to nerf it. Maybe if the other person had a reversing mirror and they made it look like they can see in the past or something like that, and that would distract them. But that's actually one Shen Gong that I think can realistically just counter it. This one pretty much just makes you a pole of electricity that conducts shit. It's kind of shit. It was only used for one episode because of Hannibal Bean's plan, but it failed, and the conditions for him using it were so specific that I can't see an actual use for it, like, at all. It made you just have really good vision. It's another like non-offensive one. You use it mainly for defense or for... You just can't use it in a battle, so there's no point of using it really. But it does have some use. F tier is literally, there's no use, or... Yeah, there's pretty much just no use. I do not remember this being used, but being able to control other Wu, that is crazy. I think that's an S tier. It was probably so powerful that they had to nerf it because I can't see a way to counter it. The counter for everything is just reversing mirror, but that's just a cop out. If you can control Wu and you're an average person, you're fucked. The Eye of Dashi is just strike of lightning. There's really no weakness considering how fast it is, but there's been many instances of it being used with reversing mirror, but if you're an average person, your reflexes aren't going to be that fast. But if you are going against someone who does have reflexes like that, then you're kind of fucked. Oh, this was the one that made you see through solid objects. Okay, that one just makes you see really good. This one makes you see through solid objects. I think it's in the same tier, but it's a little bit more useful because with an eagle scope, it's just a scope, obviously, but there's nothing really good about it. Oh, these are the fancy feet. Okay, these just make you really fast. I think that's good. I think the Fist of Tebigon is just like, yeah, it's just a strong punch, which is kind of the same with the Eye of Dashi, but like for the Fist of Tebigon, you have to be close to them. The Eye of Dashi has like good range, and the Tebigon doesn't. Found a Wii, very good. Obviously random knowledge, but when you combine that with the eagle scope, then it becomes pretty much game breaking. Which I'm deciding to put the eagle scope a little bit higher now, considering that. But I would not say they're the same as the Fist of Tebigon and the Falcon's Eye. I can't remember the name, but it just makes you breathe underwater, which is useful in very specific situations. But when you're on land, you suffocate, meaning you have to take it off, which would be very hard considering you're literally suffocating. And the human brain just kind of, the first thought is trying to find a way to breathe, but obviously you can't. So I think it leaves you kind of vulnerable, but in certain situations it can be very good. The Glove of Jisaku is very good, but you can't really use it offensively, and if the opponent doesn't have any Shen Gong, then there's like no point. But with that being said, if they do have one, you can use it against them, and they won't have any other Wu to attack you with. So that's very overpowered. But the drawback being that they might not have any, and then in that situation, what are you gonna do with that Wu? The Glove of Jisaku is very good. There isn't a flaw unless you're talking about the range. But if you combine that with the fancy feat, then you're kind of fucked. So I think it's A, because the only drawback being the range. The Golden Tiger Claws is very overpowered because it's just a get out of jail free card. You could use it offensively, and you can definitely attack with it. You can't use the ability to attack with it, but you can definitely just use the claws as like a regular like pair of claws. And since they're golden, they're obviously very durable. And since it's Shen Gong Wu, I'm pretty sure they are indestructible, because I don't think we've actually seen it damage Shen Gong Wu. I can't really think of a drawback, because you can literally teleport anywhere. And the question I've had is, why can't they just do that to find the Shen Gong Wu? But my assumption is probably that they don't know exactly where it is. They just kind of know the area of where it is. But if that's even the case, why can't they just Golden Tiger claw it if they're like a couple minutes away, and Dojo knows kind of where it is, and then he can use it to find it. No. It brings inanimate objects to life. The Heart of Zhong. It's very situational, because what if I'm in an area where there aren't any objects? But I think it's alright. We've never actually seen it used in battle though. We've kind of seen it used in like a joke way, so we don't know the actual like full potential it has. But I think it's alright, and you can create Mahjong with it, but there's not really a way to control him apart from that Shen Gong Wu that controls Shen Gong Wu, but that's already S tier, so it doesn't even need to be even more overpowered than it is. But with that being said, you need to have all the Shen Gong Wu that create Mahjong plus that one, which is very situational. Mahjong just gives you good vision. You can literally see like 360. I think is good, but again, you can't use it offensively. Obviously you can, to know where someone would be coming from, but I don't know, it's not the best on its own. With combinations it's alright, that's why it's B and not C. Hodoku Mouse can fix any mistake. I think with that context, it's very overpowered, because there is no drawback. Because the word mistake is very vague. Like, what if in a battle I lost a showdown, can I use the Hodoku Mouse to undo it? The only case I think we've seen it used with is... Actually no, because it kind of just died. He was going to use it to undo an event that he did that almost like killed everyone, but they found another way to do it, because the Hodoku Mouse was just in lava. So theoretically, since Chase Young was the one that made the idea to use the Hodoku Mouse to undo that, it's definitely pretty much confirmed that that's what it can do. I don't think I need to explain why that actually needs to go in S tier, because it's kind of obvious why it's overpowered. But yeah, the Jack Butsu is very good, but kind of situational as well. So C. The Juju Fly Trap is literally like the ants in the pants. So the Lasso Boa Boa. It's the same as just being a defensive Shen Gong Wu, but you can use it for a lot of good uses, like if you're both trying to find a Shen Gong Wu and you're just trying to find a way to slow someone down, you can use that. But apart from that, there's not that much of a use for it on its own. The Longi Kite just gives you flight, which is very good. But yeah, there's no offensive uses. But that is very good for just an average person to have. For just getting to a Shen Gong Wu. The Lunar Locket controls the moon. That's very vague, and we've only seen it once. Where Hannibal Bean tried to use it. He tried to make it night by moving the moon. But in which moving the moon can mean a lot. Because you can pretty much do what Martyr tried to do, but actually win. Because in the Xiaolin Showdown universe, no one's that overpowered to just destroy a moon. So if you really wanted to, you could just use this and then just land it on Earth. So I think that's very overpowered. But again, we haven't seen it being used like that, but the vagueness of the ability gives me the impression that it can do that, because we've seen it being used to change day to night. Mantis Fifth Coin just makes you just jump. It was shit. It's good for dodging, I think. Yeah, you can dodge with it, but that's literally it. This one gives your arm super strength. So it's just a buffed version of the Fist of Tebegong. And it said could withstand anything. Anything means anything. So if we use the moon scenario, maybe you actually can just like punch the moon, since it can withstand anything. Which could, it doesn't mean that's better, but that is very overpowered. Just the part that says could withstand anything, because I mean it pretty much has no flaws, which might make me want to do this. Moby Morpher, there we go. It changed you into a different person. And let me try to find if it does anything more. Okay, since it just says it changes the appearance, my example was kind of useless. What I was going to say is if it changes your appearance and you get the abilities, then that would be S tier, because then you could just turn into Chase Young while you're some average guy. But if it just changes your appearance, it's still very good, because you can use that in the way that Hannibal Bean used, of just breaking into places. But I don't know, you could morph into someone that's just very strong, like physique wise, but you don't get their knowledge and their abilities. But appearance does mean things like obviously how you look, and physiques are looks. So technically you can just turn into someone very, very strong. But from what we've seen in the show, it has to be someone that you know, or someone that exists, and you just can't make up someone. But if you know of Chase Young, you could probably just like turn into him. I keep using Chase Young as an example, but he is technically Omi is the strongest character, because of Halen Omi, actually, because of how much he beat the shit out of everyone. I should probably do a tier list on how strong the characters are, because it's very weird on how the power scaling works. But I'm just using Chase Young because he's very strong and he's my favorite character. Okay, the Monarch Wings are very vague, because I do remember the episode. It just made this villain very strong, like incredibly strong. But does that mean I can use it, or is it only for them? Because it's a sister Shen Gong Wu to this one. I forgot the name, but it's one of those Shen Gong Wu that you need another one to be actually like useful, which is shit. So I think I think this goes in D. Because it has the potential to be very good. But it's just not good on its own. So it doesn't literally have no uses. The monkey staff just makes you into a monkey, which is very good considering how strong they are. But there's a drawback of you literally just go insane. So I think it's B. Because I don't think it's A. Because it's not a semi-automatic Quinn. It's just a little boost. Once you sandals just makes you... It turns you into Monsoon. These are good for reach. But that's really it. You can self-sabotage with it pretty easily. Stone Locust. I think this was used to kill the evil plant thing. It's kind of shit. There is a use, but the use is so... It's so... There's so many conditions for it to actually be useful that I don't think it should be there. Actually, I'm gonna... Yeah. I think with the flip coin, you can kind of use it because sometimes you need an extra boost in your jump. This just traps things, which... I mean, we don't know how easy it is for the thing trapped inside to break out, but in this episode, Kimiko broke it and it seemed to break pretty easily. But if it was just left there on its own, then it could be used very well. But there is kind of a Shen Gong that traps people, but it's worse because we've seen the glass being broken before. And when the Sabini was trapped, it probably couldn't do that because it probably would have thought of doing that. So I think this is probably a B tier. Actually, A tier. The only flaw being of how if just someone else wants to destroy it. The Orb of Tanami. Said it could be released as ice, but I think that's only for Omi. But I'm just gonna assume it's for everyone. That's a very good Shen Gong Wu. The reversing mirror, there's like no question. It's literally the... I know you definitely can't use it when someone else has a Shen Gong Wu. I mean, when someone just doesn't have a Shen Gong Wu. But it's still very overpowered. I'm gonna let that fact slide because of how overpowered it is. Ring of the Nine Dragons. This is the one when Omi became like an idiot. This one's kind of crap because it divides your power. The Rio Reverso is very good, but you can't use it offensively. But it was used on oil to create dinosaurs, which is very cool, but you can't control them, and when Jack did it, they turned into babies and then grew into adults. So there's not really... It's shit. I don't know why I said it was good. Ruby of Ramses gives you the Force, essentially. I think the only flaw would be you can't really use it close range. If someone is running up on you and they're very close to you, you need to aim it and then aim at where you're gonna like throw the object to. I'm pretty sure it can't be used on people. Actually no, it has been used on people.
Ruby of Ramses! Ruby of Ramses! Oh no!
Actually this is actually very fucking overpowered. Sands of Time. There's not a flaw, so it kind of has to go there. It just makes you go back through time. So I think if you have a Shen Gong Wu that can control it, then it's very good. But if you don't, then there's literally no point to it because it just kills everything. But I think it's more situational than these, because situational Shen Gong Wu, the payoff has to be really good for it to be above D, and I think this one is, considering the stuff you can do with it. the serpent's tail makes you invisible. It makes you go through solid objects. I think this is good because you can control when you can and can't. I don't see any flaw other than you can't use it in offensive ways. But you can use it to just get through people. And it can be countered with a reversing mirror. Probably to just make you actually like, so people can actually hit you. But Wuya can use it to turn back into a human form, which is very overpowered. So I think A tier is a good place. This one was the one Hannibal Bean used to make Raimundo's fears go to life. I think this one's good. The Shard of Lightning was very overpowered. They tried to nerf it by saying it lasts 5 real-time seconds. But if you're as fast as lightning, then that's not even that bad, since you could just use it again. Because there doesn't seem to be a cooldown. Or maybe there is, because I think a lot of Shen Gong Wu, if you can spam it, then they're pretty much overpowered. But there is not anything said on if you can or can't do that, so I'm just gonna put this in S tier. This is another trouble one. It's just dookie. Shroud of Shadows is very good. The only flaw being that people can still hear you.
How did you know I was there?
It's the Shroud of Shadows, not the Shroud of Silence. You breathe through your mouth, dude.
And they can just take it off. So there's no point if they're just really good at sensing shit. But it's still very good. This one is just Tangle Webcone, but good, isn't it? Yeah, you just become Spider-Man. I think this one's good as well. The Silver Manta Ray was very good. It's just this one, but a lot better. Because now you can travel with people. I forgot about that one. Oh, you can transfer powers in there. That changes a lot. That changes a lot of what you can do with it. I think that's A tier. The only problem being is that Chase Young broke out of it. No, Omi broke Chase out of it. So maybe they're actually just fucked forever. Yeah, which in that case, I think this is S, and then I think that should still be A, because it's just a nerfed version of it. A little bit, but they both require someone else to break them out of it. But the only thing this one does is it just traps you. This one traps you and then gives the person that's trapping you powers, which is very overpowered. The Star Hanabi is like the Eye of Dashi but with fire. It's okay. The Sun Chi Lantern is pretty much just a spirit bomb. It can make other people give you power, which in the Xiaolin monks case is very good because they're a group of people. But if you're on your own, you're very fucked, because you can't force people to give you power. They have to be willing to give you power. So I think it's B tier, but the situational can be very good. I'm not going to say the name of this one, but if you know what it is, you know what it is. This one, it can trap people, and you get another opponent, because it just turns into a giant baby, and then it just traps people with projectiles, which is very good. There's not that many flaws. I think the only flaw is that it's kind of slow, but that's really it. But it's not game breaking. Sword of the Storm is very good. Again, there's not that many flaws, but it's not game breaking. I think it's average. It's okay. The Tangle Webcone just like traps people, which it's situational, but can be used in very overpowered ways. But it's been It's been mentioned like so many times that it's very hard to use and requires full concentration. So I think it's D tier. I think it's probably, there's not that many cases where you need to use it, but if there's a case you can use it, it can be very good. Third arm slash is pretty much the Fist of Terugon buffed a little bit. It's pretty much just the same, but you can do a little bit more with it. It's not insanely buffed, so I think it goes on the same tier. Bone of Thunderbolt is pretty much the same as the Eye of Dashi. It's literally the same with the Eye of Dashi actually. The Tongue of Saiping makes you talk to animals, but in a case when Omi used it, he used it to get a bunch of people to just jump Jack, but they kind of realized why would we listen to you, and I think they just beat the shit out of Omi. So yeah, you can't even use the Shen Gong Wu that controls Shen Gong Wu because animals aren't Shen Gong Wu. So there's pretty much just no use for it. Keep finding information and finding an animal that isn't an asshole. The Tunnel Armadillo makes you travel underground, which you think I'd put an F tier, but that's very good in ways that most things is very good because there aren't many objects that can do that in real life. That's they can realistically just like have on you, and it does it pretty quickly too. So it's not even for traveling, it's literally just a suit of armor. I was probably thinking of, okay, I was thinking of another Shen Gong Wu. I should have read the description. Yeah, it just, okay, never mind. If that's the case, I think this is a lot lower as well. Then, speaking of armor, the 2-ton tunic. It's very good, but you weigh 2 tons, and most people can't carry that. You can use it to block attacks, but that's it. The wings of Tanabe make you fly, which there already is a flying Shen Gong Wu, but this one leaves a trail, so people can know where you are. Woozy Shooter, this one just makes you, it's actually just goofy. The Wusheng Geyser erases someone else's memory for a short period of time. I think this could be useful in situations that are very, like, this is another one where the conditions are very like weird for you to use this, but if you have it, I guess it helps, and it looks kind of cool. That's really it. You can't really use it in anything. The Wushu helmet, the MF Doom one, the MF Doom Shen Gong Wu, is pretty much a buffed 2-ton tunic because it doesn't weigh 2 tons and it actually deflects things being thrown at them. So I think this is very good, but you can't, there's not really many ways you can use it. Maybe you can headbutt someone, but your head will be, you'll hurt yourself as well. The Yin Yo-Yo and the Yang Yo-Yo. If you have one, you're fucked. If you have two, if you have both of them, then there's still not really a point. Maybe you can use it for someone else to join your side, but that's really it. They really needed to change the plot of the episode for it to actually be useful, but we have seen it being used in the Xiaolin Showdown where they just teleported momentarily so they don't get hit by an attack, but that would require you having to use it twice, because then you would be the reverse of what you are. So I still think it's really shit. I'm almost certain that's the Zing Zong bone. It just makes everyone into zombies, and that's pretty much it. You can control them. I kind of forgot how they undid this, but It can be pretty good. It's not that situational, and you can't use it in direct combat because you kind of need to prep using it. But I still think it's really good.